friends. Welcome to the Juicebox Podcast. Happy holidays to everyone juggling carbs, cookies, and the chaos of this season.
My name is Brooke. I am 29 years old, and I was recently diagnosed with type 1, and that was during the pregnancy of my first child.
If you or a loved one is newly diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and you're seeking a clear, practical perspective, check out the Bold Beginning series on the Juicebox Podcast. It's hosted by myself and Jenny Smith, an experienced diabetes educator with over 35 years of personal insight into type 1. Our series cuts through the medical jargon and delivers straightforward answers to your most pressing questions. You'll gain insight from real patients and caregivers and find practical advice to help you confidently navigate life with type 1. You can start your journey informed and empowered with the Juicebox Podcast. The Bold Beginning series and all of the collections in the Juicebox Podcast are available in your audio app and at juiceboxpodcast.com in the menu. While you're listening, please remember that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. The episode you're about to listen to is sponsored by Tandem Mobi, the impressively small insulin pump. Tandem Mobi features Tandem's newest algorithm, Control IQ Plus technology. It's designed for greater discretion, more freedom, and improved time and range. Learn more and get started today at tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. Today's episode is also sponsored by Eversense 365, the only 1-year wear CGM. That's one insertion and one CGM a year. One CGM, 1 year. Not every 10 or 14 days. EversenseCGM.com/juicebox. The podcast is also sponsored today by US Med. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. Get your supplies the same way we do from US Med.
My name is Brooke. I am 29 years old, and I was recently diagnosed with type 1, and that was during the pregnancy of my first child.
Your baby gave you diabetes, Brooke?
Yes, she did.
Is it your first pregnancy?
Yep.
Wow. How long have you been married with the person that made the baby with you?
We were my husband.
Yeah, that would have been another way to say it.
Yes, we got married last September 2024. So we were only married about 3-4 months before we got pregnant.
Okay. In your family line, any other ladies on your side of the family have gestational diabetes ever?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Are there autoimmune issues with your mom, your dad, your grandfather, your uncles?
This is kind of distant, but my great-grandmother had Crohn's disease. So that's the only thing.
Well, now we can stop blaming the baby and start blaming her.
Yeah, okay. Great-grandma.
Yeah, great. You probably don't even know her, right?
I did. Actually, she lived until she was in her 90s. So she lived until I was 19.
Whoa. I saw.
Yeah.
No kidding. I saw Dick Van Dyke telling a story the other day about his son. And his son is 78.
Whoa.
And he joked and he said, I am old enough to be Joe Biden's father. And I was like, that's insane. So he has 2 living sons in their 70s, and he's about to turn 100.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that really weird?
Awesome though.
Well, I mean, for him, not for us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to live that long.
Yeah.
I know I'm not. I know you people are going to kill me with the stress you give me.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault, but it is. You get married, get pregnant pretty quickly. I'm just going to ask, did you do it on purpose?
We did, yes.
Awesome. Good for you. And then the baby starts to percolate, and then what happens?
So nothing really showed signs until my 3rd trimester. So, in pregnancy, they do the glucose testing right around your 3rd trimester. And at that time, I got my A1C checked. I was actually going to have a home birth, so I was doing things a little differently. And my midwife decided to just check my A1C because we thought I was low risk, no reason to believe that I was not healthy. Got my A1C checked, and a week later it came back 8.1. And this was about 29 weeks pregnant, so I was pretty far in. And I would say the only symptoms that I had were the excessive peeing and really thirsty, but that's normal things in pregnancy, so I didn't think anything of it. Checked my A1C, it was 8.1, and she said, okay, so this basically means that you have uncontrolled diabetes. You're high risk now, so you're going to have to switch to a regular OB, and then things just went from there. So it was very far along in the pregnancy that I found out.
Going back over those first 6 months, hindsight, the peeing and the thirst, how long was it going on?
Only like 2 weeks. It was really like maybe around 26 weeks of pregnancy. So I really didn't have any symptoms. The only other thing that might be kind of odd is I didn't gain a whole lot of weight. I was pretty sick my first trimester, so had the whole morning sickness thing and was throwing up for like 2 months straight. And so I actually lost 10 pounds. And then I gradually gained a little bit during the second trimester, and then it kind of just stopped. So I know that a lot of times when people get diagnosed, they lose weight. So kind of weird because I was growing a baby, but then I wasn't really gaining weight. So that might have been another thing, but that was really it.
So what do you theorize here? Do you think that, like where most people would say, oh, you have gestational diabetes, do you think you were just became type 1 during the pregnancy?
Yeah, I don't even think it was gestational.
Yeah.
From what I'm trying to put together in my head, because it's still very confusing for me, but I guess I was maybe genetically predisposed, and then the pregnancy just triggered the autoimmune response that started type 1. So I think it's just been type 1 this whole time.
A little baby was in there like a little virus, just
basically.
Yeah. Trust me, wait till you try to raise it. They are viruses.
Oh no.
Wait till it yells at you one day. Oh my God, what a moment.
Yep.
You're like, I didn't have to do this. You're welcome.
I know. Thanks, baby.
At some point, I believe every child in the world says, I didn't ask to be born. And that's a nice moment for you.
Yep.
I can give you the top 10 right now, Brooke, so you can gird your loins and get ready for it if you want.
Yeah, I got a lot of preparing to do.
I was listening to somebody the other day talk about being a parent, and they were just advocating for it, just like wonderfully, like, you know, about all the good it brings. But they also highlighted how the people describe their saddest years of their life between 25 and 45. And then somebody else said, well, isn't that the time when you're raising children? And he's like, well, yeah, you know, and then the guy like kind of begrudgingly says there is a study that says that people who don't have children report being happier.
Oh, no. I mean, it's a huge transition. Like everything, I just think about back to the days when my husband and I could just leave the house and go to a brewery and not worry about anything. And everything's different, but everything's different for the better.
Yeah. You keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
Was it a doula, by the way, or a midwife? Or are they the same?
Midwife.
Are they not the same thing?
No. So a midwife is essentially the same thing as an OB. A doula is just emotional support. So the doula wouldn't actually deliver the baby. They would just kind of be there to help support you. And then the midwife would actually deliver the baby.
So you could have both.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have the midwife and then like some hippie girl that talks to you while you're doing your thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I ended up hiring a doula once I switched to the hospital, and she actually was very helpful, and she held my hand when I pushed and all the stuff. So she was very helpful.
Did she bring gems or stones to hold on your belly by any chance?
She brought essential oils, which I thought were great.
I like you, Brooke.
I'm a little hippie.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm hearing it now. The husband, he not qualified to hold your hand during the birth?
Well, he held one hand and then she held the other. And then, well, not to get sad, but we had a NICU baby. So he had to go with her to the NICU. And then while I was being stitched up, my doula stayed with me. So it's kind of nice to have two people there.
Whoa, stitched up. Did they give you an episiotomy or a C-section? I
delivered vaginally, but a lot of the times you tear, which I guess I tore. So
I wish you wouldn't have said that word out loud. But yeah.
Every woman goes through it, so they know what I'm talking about.
Listen, I know. I was there when a couple of them happened. Yeah, but not the point. The point is, I just got that like horrible like thing up my spine. I was like, oh.
I know. I can't even.
It didn't happen to me, and it couldn't happen to me, and I'm still freaked out by it.
Yeah, I can't believe it happened to me.
Well, so the baby needed to go to the NICU because it was underweight, overweight? Like, what was the issue?
She was born at 33 weeks. If they're born before 34 weeks, they require NICU stay. And so I guess before 34 weeks, their lungs aren't fully developed. So she had to go to the NICU to get on breathing support and then feeding tube and all this stuff. So
that sounds scary.
It was tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you able to see her as much as you wanted or not particularly?
I guess right away, not really, because I was, getting stitched up and I had to stay in the hospital for a few days. But then after that, I could go see her as much as I wanted to. So she stayed in for 3 weeks and I was pretty much there every day, all day.
Did your husband make that terrible joke about throwing in an extra stitch?
No. Thankfully.
It's like an old 70s joke.
Oh.
I'm only aware of because I'm old. Can you imagine if that at all just happened?
Oh
They're whisking your baby away to the NICU. They're like, well, we're going to have to do some stitches now. And you just heard him going out the door and yelling, throw in an extra one. You'd be like, unbelievable.
I'd be so mad at him.
Oh my God. The doula would throw her essential oils right at him.
Oh, yes. And her crystals.
And her crystals. Do you have essential oils in the house now, like with one of those vaporizer things?
I don't with the vaporizer, but I've always kind of had essential oils, for different things.
All right. There's a candle in my bathroom right now. It smells awesome. I said to my wife, I was like, why does the bathroom smell so good? She goes, there's a Christmas candle in there. And I was like, oh,
a Christmas candle.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Is it cookie scented?
I don't know. All I know is those are things I would not own if it wasn't for Kelly. So It is nice. Would I maybe, if Kelly disappeared, do you think I'd go like, let me get a candle for the bathroom at Christmas? Maybe I would. Who knows?
Maybe you would, now that you know it helps.
It depends on how bored I am. Talk to me about those months, right? Like you have this, you're, thank God, like somebody checks your blood sugar, right? And transition over to hospital care. And then I want to hear about that step by step. You get to the hospital, what changes and what are those next couple months like before the baby arrives?
So I switched to a regular OB, and if you're a high-risk pregnancy, you have to work with maternal fetal medicine, and they have a whole diabetes team. So I switched to their care, and I start working with the diabetes educators, and they were super helpful. They set me up with the CGM. They explained insulin. They checked my blood sugar while I was there. I think it was like 300 that day. So they were like, these are the things that you're going to have to do to manage this for the rest of pregnancy. And I was very in denial. I thought, like, there's no way this isn't just gestational, or maybe it's just type 2 and it's going to go away. Like, I didn't know that type 1 was really a factor at this point.
Okay.
And I didn't really understand the difference between type 1 and type 2. The only thing that I understood was that, I thought type 1 only happened in childhood, teenage years, and I didn't really realize that it could happen at any point, and it also meant that you had to have insulin. So I didn't really understand a lot of it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna help this with diet and lifestyle. Like, I'm gonna get my blood sugars under control. I'm not gonna have to go with insulin. I think it was like 2 weeks went by before I actually started the insulin, and I got my blood sugars down to like the low 100s just by tuning in my diet. So at that point, the only thing that I couldn't really fix was my fasting numbers. In pregnancy, they want it to be under 95 when you wake up. And I was like 110, 120. So I did have to go on insulin. They set me up with a long lasting and a rapid, and that helped me manage it. And at some point along the lines there, I don't remember exactly when, but they suggested getting the antibodies test to rule out type 1. I guess, is there 3 different antibodies you could have?
I mean, I think there's 5, isn't there?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, but I think I had 3 of the antibodies, or maybe all. So they were like, yeah, this is probably type 1. They kind of explained to me, like, after pregnancy, you're going to have to switch to an endocrinologist, and this is going to be a lifelong thing for you. So I still was kind of in denial that was true. I was just like, there's no way this happened to me. Like, it's gestational. It's going to go away. Like, whatever.
Well, so wait, Brooke, I understand you being in denial the first time, but like, what about after they're like, nope, it's definitely this? This episode is sponsored by Tandem Diabetes Care. And today I'm going to tell you about Tandem's newest pump and algorithm. The Tandem Mobi system with Control-IQ Plus technology features auto bolus, which can cover missed meal boluses and help prevent hyperglycemia. It has a dedicated sleep activity setting and is controlled from your personal iPhone. Tandem will help you to check your benefits today through my link. tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. This is going to help you to get started with Tandem's smallest pump yet, that's powered by its best algorithm ever. Control-IQ Plus technology helps to keep blood sugars in range by predicting glucose levels 30 minutes ahead, and it adjusts insulin accordingly. You can wear the Tandem Mobi in a number of ways. Wear it on body with a patch-like adhesive sleeve that is sold separately, clip it discreetly to your clothing, or slip it into your pocket. Head now to my link, tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox to check out your benefits and get started today. Diabetes comes with a lot of things to remember, so it's nice when someone takes something off of your plate. US Med has done that for us. When it's time for Ardent supplies to be refreshed, we get an email. Rolls up and in your inbox says, "Hi Ardent, this is your friendly reorder email from US Med." You open up the email, there's a big button that says, "Click here to reorder," and you're done. Finally, somebody taking away a responsibility instead of adding one. US Med has done that for us. An email arrives, we click on a link, and the next thing you know, your products are at the front door. That simple. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. I never have to wonder if Ardent has enough supplies. I click on one link, I open up a box, I put the stuff in the drawer, and we're done. US Med carries everything from insulin pumps and diabetes testing supplies to the latest CGMs like the Libre 3 and the Dexcom G7. They accept Medicare nationwide, over 800 private insurers, and all you have to do to get started is call 888-721-1514 or go to my link, usmed.com/juicebox. Using that number or my link helps to support the production of the Juicebox podcast.
Because I didn't understand type 1, I think. I just was like, there's no way that this just developed during pregnancy. And even the doctors kind of seemed confused about the fact that you can get type 1 during pregnancy. I don't know. Have you ever heard of that? Because they seemed like they've never had anyone develop type 1 during pregnancy.
Well, I mean, just because they haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Also, 5 antibodies associated with type 1 diabetes: GAD65, IA2, that's isolate antigen 2 antibodies, IAA, insulin autoantibodies, ZNT8, zinc transporter 8 antibodies, and ICA, isolate cell cytoplasmic antibodies. One positive antibody can indicate an autoimmune activity. 2 or more consider strong evidence for type 1 diabetes or a very high risk if not diagnosed. Kids with multiple antibodies almost have a 100% lifetime risk of developing type 1.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'm pretty sure I had 3. So I guess I'm in the boat of definitely type 1.
You also could have had them for a long time.
Yeah, and that's what I still don't really understand. If I had them for a long time, I don't understand why I didn't have symptoms until...
Because you didn't have diabetes yet. You just had the antibodies are just there. So
okay.
Do you remember being sick before pregnancy, a virus or, a kind of a prolonged illness, anything that might have taxed your immune system?
The only thing that I dealt with was kind of TMI, but I had abnormal TAP test results. So I had abnormal cells on my cervix that lasted about 6 to 7 years. And they said that typically what I had would clear itself within like a year or two, and my body could not clear whatever this was. And so there was an indicator that I had a weak immune system because I just couldn't clear it on my own. So that would be the only thing. But aside from that, I felt extremely healthy prior to pregnancy. So it was definitely a shock.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm picking around a little bit here and asking our overlords. Obviously, pregnancy doesn't create type 1 diabetes, but it changes the immune system, hormones, insulin resistance in ways that can maybe unmask or accelerate the progression if you already have antibodies. Just something that shifts your immune system. The pregnancy could, definitely does that.
Yeah. Right.
You get like a big hormonal insulin resistance, like 20 to 28 weeks, like right in there. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Is it bothering you? Is it a feeling like you'd like to have an answer?
I think I'm coming to accept it. In the moment, it definitely did bother me. I just was like, how did this happen to me? I don't understand. You explaining that helps even more. I think every day I'm just kind of accepting it and learning more about it and understanding that this is my new reality.
Okay. And are you having a reasonable time with that transition, or is it like, are you seeing a therapist, or do you feel like you should? Do you need somebody to hold your hand or rub oil on you or something?
Essential oils definitely would help. No, I think I'm doing okay. I think it helps that I'm in the honeymoon phase because it's kind of like a slow transition. Like it's slowly, I need to take more insulin. And so I have a transition into it, and it's not just like one day all of a sudden I have to take tons of insulin and my blood sugars are all over the place. So I'm managing it pretty well.
Good. I'm sorry, you did have to take insulin during the pregnancy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like, since I gave birth at 33 weeks, it was probably only for like 2 weeks that I actually did. But yeah.
And then do you see an endocrinologist separate for you during that time?
Maternal fetal medicine handled me until I gave birth. And then once I gave birth, they passed me off to endo. So I had my first endocrinologist appointment like 3 weeks after she was born.
The diagnosis isn't really about you while the baby's on board. Mm-hmm. It's more about the pregnancy. Like you are the pregnant. Yeah. Is that right? Like it's more like you are the pregnancy. And then, we're managing the pregnancy. And now that the baby's been extracted, now we go and you get your type 1 diabetes diagnosis the way everybody else does. And you go through the process.
Yeah. And I think that might also be why I was a little just like in denial, because until I saw my endocrinologist, he was like, yes, you have type 1. You're in the honeymoon phase, and you gave me all the facts. Whereas before it was kind of like everything just seemed so up in the air. So once I had the endocrinologist appointment, I was like, okay, like this is what's going on.
It makes a lot of sense, actually. There's some great insight in there. I appreciate you sharing it like that. Mm-hmm. So, okay, baby comes out, you go to the endo. Now you have type 1. What's it like being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as you're also a newborn parent? Why would you settle for changing your CGM every few weeks when you can have 365 days of reliable glucose data? Today's episode is sponsored by the Eversense 365. It is the only CGM with a tiny sensor that lasts a full year, sitting comfortably under your skin, with no more frequent sensor changes and essentially no compression lows for 1 year. You'll get your CGM data in real time on your phone, smartwatch, Android or iOS, even an Apple Watch. Predictive high and low alerts let you know where your glucose is headed before it gets there, so there's no surprises, just confidence. And you can instantly share that data with your healthcare provider or your family. You're going to get 1 year of reliable data without all those sensor changes. That's the Eversense 365. Gentle on your skin, strong for your life. One sensor a year that gives you one less thing to worry about. Head now to eversensecgm.com/juicebox to get started.
It's very overwhelming. I guess I don't know any different. Like, I don't know what it's like to have a baby or be pregnant without this going on. So I don't know what it would be like if I didn't have type 1. So I think every mother goes through a period where they're very overwhelmed and there's a lot going on. But the best I can describe it is very overwhelming. And obviously you have to always put the baby first. And so, her needs come before my needs. And there's times where I don't always get to check what my blood sugar is and maybe not take insulin exactly when I wanted to. And I try to exercise after meals and stuff like that just to keep my blood sugar lower. And there's times I can't do that. So I guess you just really have to prioritize the baby. And so sometimes the diabetes stuff gets put on the back burner.
How long ago was she born?
She is almost 3 months. So
okay.
2.5.
So, wow, this is all very fresh.
Yes.
How did you find me so quickly?
So my husband, he loves to go on Reddit, and he was just looking up people with type 1 and what they had to say on Reddit. And a lot of people were talking about Dr. Bernstein, and he had a Facebook page called Type 1 Grit or something like that.
Yep.
And so I went and looked on that page, and I hadn't read the book at that point. I think I only read like a chapter or so. They want you to have fully read the book and be on his diet to join that page. So it suggested like other resources. And I don't remember if they suggested your Facebook page or your podcast, but whichever one I found. And then I found the other, and I love listening to podcasts. So I've been listening to your podcast like 2 episodes a day, something like that. So
okay, well, so hold on, that's crazy. So your husband found people talking about a very like low carb approach to type 1 diabetes. And you tried to find a Facebook page for that approach, but they wouldn't let you in until you read the book and were on the diet?
yes.
But then who told you about me? Like, were you in a different Facebook page and people were like, oh, you can go talk to Scott's people now? Is that how it worked?
I think in the, like, you know, when it sometimes asks you questions when you join a Facebook page, I think in there it had links to other either Facebook pages or podcasts and resources. So I just clicked on one of those links and it took me to wherever.
That surprises the hell out of me. I just, Brooke, if that's the case, I just have to tell you, like, I have no malice. I don't think the low carb community is a fan of mine. So that freaks me out.
I don't know.
Anyway, what's up, brothers? Like, I think it's cool. I think everybody should be sharing everything. Like, I genuinely, if you want to, follow the teachings of Dr. Bernstein, I think that's completely reasonable. And I also think it's completely reasonable if you want to do a number of other things. I like the idea of people having options, seeing what's out there and making their own decisions. So anyway, if that's the case, I really appreciate it. And I'll tell you, I have a number of people who eat very low carb in my group, and we're happy to let them share as well about how they do things. I only ever kind of step in if people start to proselytize. If you come into my group and every question that's asked is answered with like, well, you have to do this or go try this right away. Like, I'm like, all right, like you're just on you're just trying to get people from here to wherever it is you think they should be. Like, you can tell them, hey, this works for me, and like, give it a shot. But if you start posting 12 times a day about it, like, I feel like maybe there's something going on.
Yeah.
Dr. Bernstein, he lived till 90.
Yeah.
He just passed this year. Really.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Astounding. Yeah. He passed away in April. But it's just an astounding life, doing that. So, okay. All right. That's awesome. And then, so you found the podcast, you liked listening to the podcast. So what did you get out of it because you're on the show pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think I reached out only a couple weeks after listening to your podcast. I mean, I just love hearing other people's stories and relating to what they're going through. And I think something that made me want to reach out was when I was diagnosed, I was, like I said, very confused about the fact that it happened during pregnancy. And I did find on Reddit that there's a lot of other people who've had the same experience out there. And I kind of wish that I saw more of that and I heard someone's like full story in a podcast or something like that of getting diagnosed during pregnancy. So kind of made me just want to share my story. I wasn't sure if you had ever had anyone on with a similar story, but I figured I'd like to share. So,
well, I appreciate that. And it doesn't matter if anybody's been on before talking about something similar. I think we need to keep having conversations so people can keep hearing them. So,
yeah.
Okay. So you made a point earlier that like you were a little bit in denial, then a lot in denial, then, back again. Is there something that you can point to that a doctor said to you that actually made you feel like, okay, this is actually happening to me? Like, I got to wrap my head around it. Was there something valuable that was said to you that helped you with that?
I think my endocrinologist explaining honeymoon, because I didn't understand that. And leading up to that point, I was not taking a whole lot of insulin. And there was even a couple of days in the hospital where I didn't have it. Once I started learning more about type 1, it's like, you need insulin. So I was like, how do I have type 1 and not need insulin? So when he started explaining the honeymoon phase and he got my C-peptides checked, I think it was, and that confirmed that I was in the honeymoon stage because I still had some insulin being produced by my own body. So I think understanding that and how it was a transition into it made sense for what was going on with me.
It just really does occur to me that being pregnant and giving birth and being told at the same time, right? Like, you have type 1 diabetes and here's all that comes with that. You said overwhelming, but like, you're really like underplaying it, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't just overwhelming. It was probably insane.
Yeah. Life-changing.
Right. And your husband, this guy, I mean, he's not even qualified to hold your hand correctly. So, I mean, how helpful is he going to be with this whole thing? But no, seriously, like, you're fairly newly wed still. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so you're newly wed, you're newly just went through a pregnancy that didn't go the way you expected. You had like some big plans. They got kind of, smushed up there at the end. I wonder if you still have a full like feeling of the impact of what's happened to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I do. And my husband, love him, but he, I think, is even in more denial than I am. I think I've come to kind of accept like what's to come. And he's still very optimistic, like maybe it'll go away. Like, I think he doesn't have as much education on it that I do at this point. I mean, I'm still learning so much, still have so much to learn, but
Brooke, is it too late to switch to a different boy? Wait, what? Wait, what are you telling me? You feel he has said to you, maybe it'll go away?
I mean, I think he's just very optimistic. And I think even if it doesn't go away, he thinks I'll be able to manage it with very low insulin diet and stuff like that. And I keep saying like, no, I'm going to have to start taking more insulin. I'm going to have to start taking it with meals and that kind of stuff. So I think he's just very optimistic.
Well, listen, I'm going to take his optimism and say, I'm happy he's optimistic. I'm sad. Mm-hmm. I'm sad that this is the situation and that it feels like this, because you're making me posit what might be going through a lot of different people's heads in this situation. Like, oh, maybe it'll go away. Maybe they'll cure it. I've seen people say God's going to take it from, like, like I've got all different ideas of people clinging to the idea that I want this to change and go back. And you're the one saying, no, this is how it's going to be. Mm-hmm. I think that's healthy, by the way, that you're understanding of the situation. Mm-hmm. I do think there are people who don't care for themselves as well, because that feeling of like hopefulness can turn into, well, I'll just ignore it because this isn't going to be my life. Mm-hmm. And I just think you have a great shot at success when you face it head on like this. Mm-hmm. There are things that can help, like as you go along, you'll be able to pay attention to. I mean, there's a lot of people right now who, experience insulin resistance, who are using a little bit of GLP medications that are bringing their insulin needs down that way. You could absolutely decide that eating like a very low carb diet is for you. Mm-hmm. That would keep your insulin needs down. There's a lot of things you could do, but you're in the infancy of it. No pun intended. You're in the infancy of a lot of things.
Yep.
How is the baby, by the way?
She's great. After she stayed 3 weeks in the NICU, she had the breathing stuff, like the CPAP machine. She had a feeding tube. But once we got her home, she's been doing great. So no concerns with her. I know that a lot of times when you have diabetes in the pregnancy, the concerns are that they would be a really big baby to start, which she was born early, so that didn't really happen. Mm. And then they would have low blood sugar issues, but because she was in the NICU for 3 weeks, they were checking that constantly, and she didn't have any issues with that. So she's great. What
was her birth weight?
It was 5.5 pounds, basically.
But there is part of me that really thinks that that's a helpful indicator that you really just were diagnosed with type 1 while you were pregnant. Because if you had gestational the entire time, I imagine her birth weight would have been higher.
Yeah, but I also am not sure, like, since she was born at 33 weeks, she was 5.5 pounds. That's big for 33 weeks. Had she gone all the way, I don't know if she would have been a big baby. Fair
point. Oh, I'm glad we've talked about it, because I'd like to understand that. Interesting. Has your family extended been valuable for you here? Your mother, I don't know if your mom and dad are together or alive or whatever, but like, do you have people that can help you and you can lean on?
Yeah, they're all very supportive. My mom's pre-diabetic, and my grandfather, who was her dad, he has since passed, but he had type 2. So there's some understanding of diabetes in my family. They were so helpful at the end of pregnancy and the beginning of bringing the baby home, of cooking us meals. And I just tell them like what I can eat and send them recipes, and they cook for us. So that was super helpful. So yeah, they've all been very supportive.
Very nice. Very nice. You feel like you're set up well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you'll want an insulin pump when the time comes, or do you think you're going to try MDI?
I'm definitely considering it. I don't know. I think there's positives and negatives. I've seen like videos of people putting their pumps in, and I don't know, they seem painful, and then sometimes they leak and whatever else. But then on the other side, giving yourself multiple injections a day is also a pain. So I'm kind of considering both. So we'll just kind of see what happens.
You wait and see. Are you wearing a CGM?
Yes.
Which one?
I have the Libre.
Libre 3 Plus?
Yes.
Awesome. Very nice. What are you seeing on the CGM? Because right now you're just taking a basal insulin. Is that right?
As of this week, I started adding it back in a little bit of rapid, just a very small amount though.
Okay. What are you noticing? Where does your blood sugar sit stable away from meals? And what are you seeing as far as spikes go at mealtime?
So I do feel like things have kind of gradually progressed over the last couple months. Right when after I gave birth and I got home and everything, I was pretty much sitting in the 90s, like low 100s. And I was only taking 7 units of Lantus before bed. And then interestingly, I saw those numbers start to creep up, especially at night. I would get into like the 130s and it was too high for what I was comfortable with. So I reached out to my endo and I said, hey, I'm noticing my numbers are creeping up. I'm starting to eat foods that I wouldn't spike on before and I'm starting to spike on now. So would you recommend adding back in rapid and upping my Lantus? And he said, no. He said, your numbers are fantastic. In his opinion, he wanted, as long as my A1C is under 7. For me personally, I would like it to be like under 5.5, ideally. So I kind of ignored his advice and started adding more Lantus. And so now I'm taking 11 units of Lantus before bed, like 2 units with a meal if I feel like I need it. And so I'm staying pretty stable. I usually don't go over like 140, 150.
Where'd you get the nerve to do that?
Your podcast.
Oh, sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm glad for you. I think, I'm going to try to say this as much as I can. I believe that people who have the most success with type 1 diabetes have good tools. They have a good understanding of how insulin works, and they feel empowered to make changes to their settings. Mm-hmm. I think that's a big deal. Being able to say, my needs have changed and I don't need to stare at it for 6 months or ask, a committee of people to decide whether or not I should go from, 0.5 to 0.7.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're continuing, you're not having any lows that are worrisome?
No, no lows really at all. Occasionally I'll like dip into the high 60s, but it'll come right back and I haven't had any issues.
Does a high 60 feel any certain way to you or no?
Not really, no.
No, you don't feel low?
No.
At that number. Are you using a meter once in a while to check, make sure that Libre is giving you a good number?
I was at the beginning and I stopped, so I probably should.
Yeah, look every once in a while. It doesn't hurt anything. Especially in the extremes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'd love to know if a 69 is really 69. And I'd love to know if, a 180 is not 240, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess what I'm interested in, like, you're so new to this. And like you said, it's not even like full on, I got like type 1 and all the insulin and everything's happening right now. And you have somebody on your side who you love and you care about who's telling you like, maybe it'll go away. And and you're like, no, I don't think so. Like, and the baby's there and are you breastfeeding?
Yeah, I'm breastfeeding, pumping.
And you're breastfeeding and you're pumping and like, do you work? Do you have a job? Like, do you have to go to work?
I have a very small part-time job that I can work from home. It's like a few hours a week.
Okay. So. All right. Well, you don't have to leave the house then, like on a schedule. That's great. At least I'm just like, I'm wondering, like, I mean, it's not what you expected and it's not what you were getting ready for. Right. Mm-hmm. So what is it like when you step out of yourself right now and look at this entire situation, like, how would you explain it to another person as an onlooker? Like, what's happening to you right now?
That's a hard question. I don't know. It's hard to take yourself out of the situation. But I guess when people ask what's going on, I just say, I got type 1 when I was pregnant and here we are. I mean, I'm in the honeymoon phase and it's gradually ramping up. Most people don't understand type 1 diabetes. So I'll explain to them that my pancreas is still producing some insulin. So I don't have to take as much right now. But yeah, we're just taking it day by day.
I'll be damned. You have such a good attitude.
Thank you.
Are you an only child? Do you have brothers and sisters?
I'm the middle child. I've always been I would say, like, optimistic, go with the flow type of person.
Well, you really are. I mean, geez, like, go with the flow is an understatement here. Like, you're not mad. You're not scared. Are you? I
mean, I definitely have had those emotions. But I think when it comes down to it, when you have a baby, it's like, it's about them and you have to do what you have to do to keep them healthy. I've heard you talk a lot about Arden's story and how you just have to do it. you don't have a choice. And so I just have to put my baby first at this point. And, obviously I have to take care of myself too, because if I'm not healthy, then she's doesn't have anyone to take care of her. But, as a parent, you got to do what you got to do. I think it just helps. For me, it helps hearing people's stories and it helps getting educated. And that's why I love listening to podcasts. Like, I've always been a podcast junkie, and whatever I'm going through at that time in my life, I just binge podcasts about. And so I'm so glad that I found yours, and there's so much content. Like, I don't think I'll ever run out of podcasts to listen to. So I'm thankful for that.
So 2 things. First of all, would you like to renounce your father and accept me as your father now? No? Yes? It's okay if you don't want to. No. You're like, no. What the hell kind of question? I was just kidding. You don't have to apologize.
I know.
Also, I really appreciate you saying what you just said, because I just had this conversation last night with somebody who said to me, like, oh, I was somewhere recently and a couple people said to me, like, oh, the podcast has too much content. And I said, those aren't podcast listeners. Mm-hmm. And you're making my point here, which is really, really great for me, because now I feel like I might have been right about something. I think that the podcast attracts a couple of different people. I think it attracts people who are been thrown into diabetes or are struggling, and they've heard that it could be helpful to them. And they come and they find it, and I think they extract from it what they need to go live a better life, or to get enough tools for building blocks for themselves. I don't imagine that most people like just listen to what I say and just go do it. Like, I think they apply it to their own lives and their own thinking and find a blend that works for them. I think then when those people are done and their A1Cs and their stability is where they kind of want it to be, and their understanding and their comfortability is where they want it to be, I think they kind of go away, right? Like, I think they found a thing and it helped them, and now they don't need it anymore. And then I think there are other people who show up for all kinds of different reasons who are actually podcast listeners and want to listen to these conversations. And those people, they want something every day. And they want it to be an hour or an hour and a half long. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not looking for 15 minutes, give me something, let me get out of here. There are people who like podcasts, and you're one of those people.
Yeah, I find myself, if I have a podcast I really like, getting angry if there's an episode that's only 15 minutes. Because, like, what can you say in 15 minutes? There's so much to say, and I love the long podcasts.
Thank you. I do too. I prefer, by the way, I don't even make podcasts at the length that I prefer them at. I prefer them around 2.5 hours. But when I'm listening myself, there have been times where people have said things like, this woman said something online the other day that really, like, I was like, oh, like, it hit me right in my soul. She goes, yeah, I tried the podcast. Too much chit chat, she said.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's the part I'm good at.
Yeah.
Oh no, too much of the thing that I think I'm good at. I was like, oh no. So, but it's easy for a moment to be like, oh, she doesn't like me. But I don't think she doesn't like me. She doesn't like podcasting.
Yeah.
An easy thing to lose sight of. So when I was explaining to the person about all this, they were like, the person said they would like shorter episodes and more stuff about management, more stuff with doctors and more stuff with that. I said, that's the stuff that doesn't do as well. Mm-hmm. Like, not by a lot. Like, don't get me wrong. But like, if I do, what are a couple of things that happen? If I do too much management stuff, the management stuff does worse by like 10%. And even the stuff that people love, like Bolus 4 and like the pro tip stuff, like that's listened to by a lot of people. Like, don't get me wrong, but not as many people would want to listen to you and I chit chat about your pregnancy and your life with diabetes. Those episodes do better. And people want it every day. They're not looking for once a week. They're not looking for, every other, Wednesday and Friday, like kind of thing. Like, people who want podcasts, they want them all the time. And if they wake up on Monday, or what was yesterday, blind electrician. If you wake up tomorrow, and you go blind electrician, I don't care. Well, maybe you cared about the one from the day before, or the 5 that were out the week before, or the 5 that are coming in the next 5 days. Like, there's always going to be content for you. Like, I think in a world that is built the way ours is now, if you're putting something out once a week or once a month, you barely have a hobby at that point.
Yeah.
You are not creating content. That's for certain. And for the people who love it, like you, it's exactly what they want.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's like, for me, it's kind of comforting having like chit chat in the background. I don't know, especially being mostly a stay-at-home mom, you're just by yourself all day with a little baby. So having just people talking in the background, and
Yeah.
I don't know, hearing similar stories. I really love it.
I will tell you that I grew up with talk radio, and
hmm
I find it incredibly valuable. I love having voices, like, I love hearing people's stories who I've never met before and I'll never meet. I like to hear people's perspectives. I like that there's somebody leading the conversation who I'm comfortable with, who I find to be reasonable. I don't have to always agree with that person. As a matter of fact, I don't, but still, like, there's a core about them that works for me. Does that make sense? Yeah.
No, I agree completely.
Yeah. So, like, I'm sure I say something. I'm sure there are people who absolutely love this podcast who once in a while are like, what did that moron just say? And like, because I do the same thing when I'm listening to stuff that I enjoy that has nothing to do with diabetes or me. And, like, I'll sitting there and like nodding along, like, like doing the dishes. You're like, yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense. And they say something. I go, where'd you come up with that, you moron? And like, like it's I don't know. I just think it's an awesome way to bring people together.
Definitely. I agree.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. And all of you other podcast listeners out there, I appreciate you. And by the way, those of you who are just here for whatever, like, you need out of it, like, I don't begrudge it at all. Like, I think it's awesome that we built something that also does something else, So
For sure.
Do you do it for that? Like, have you even needed to really dive into pro tips yet? Or did you try bold beginnings? Have you tried any of that management stuff?
I've tried a little bit of each. I think I can't remember exactly what episodes I listened to, but I definitely listened to some of the bold beginnings, some of the pro tips, and some of your bolus episodes. So I've heard bits and pieces.
So you're grabbing what you need and feeling like, to get yourself feeling like you're prepared. Is that right?
Yeah. Like, for instance, I think it was maybe in the bold beginnings, there was like a episode about honeymoon. So I've listened to that. And then an episode about insulin, and I listened to that. And I kind of just listened to what I need. I also kind of cherry pick the talking episodes to ones that I think will be more similar to my experience.
Of course.
And I just kind of start with those.
That's obvious. And you've been at it such a short amount of time. Like, you're one of those people that if I don't piss you off, you could be listening to this show for 10 years.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. Because there's been podcasts that I've listened to for probably 10 years now. So
me too. Yeah, there's stuff I've listened to for so long that I don't even think it's the same thing I started with. And I still I'm just happy to be with the people at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's not YouTube, right? Like, people are like, put your podcast on YouTube. I'm like, nah, it's not the same thing. Like, I know you think it is, but it's not. Like, it's not the same. Like, YouTube viewers are not podcast listeners.
Yeah, and I feel like it's more approachable for a podcast because I can I don't have to watch it. I can put it on in the car. I can put it on when I'm in the shower, like whatever I'm doing, just have that background noise versus having to watch something.
It's funny too. Somebody said to me the other day, I did an interview with somebody and they were like, can I get a screen grab of you and I talking? And I was like, I don't do video. I don't have any of that. And they said, oh, I just wanted, a picture of you and me for some social media. And I was doing, and I was like, yeah, I'm not the face of the podcast. Like, people don't care what I look like.
Yeah. I don't even think I knew what you looked like.
Yeah. That's not important. It really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to the Howard Stern show for 6 years when I realized that Robin was black. I had no idea. Like, and that's not even probably like there might even be a thing you have context for. But like, I was listening to a group of people talk for like 6 years, and one day I was like, what did they just say? And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I loved how unimportant it was.
Yeah,
she's a voice with thoughts, and she's consistent. And like her, not like her, be angry with her sometimes, enjoy what she says sometimes. She was just a constant. Like, it's I don't know. I just think it's wonderful. It's popular. Like, that's the other thing is that the last thing I said to the person was like, they're like, well, there's other podcasts and they do more stuff with doctors. And I was like, yeah, boring. Nobody cares.
Yeah, there's a lot of podcasts out there. There's a lot. I mean, you can find whatever you're looking for pretty much. So
yeah,
they're out there if you want them.
That's it. Here I am through Reddit because your husband listens. Oh my God, you've had such a crazy route to getting to where you are right now. Yeah. Really nice. Like, it's interesting. I am worried about the boy though. Like, do you think he's in denial?
I think he's a little bit in denial, but I more so think I think it's the optimism. Like, I think he thinks we're going to manage this easy. Like, we'll stay low carb. You won't have to go on the pump. Like, I think he just thinks we're going to handle it very simplified. And I just am like, it's not going to be that easy. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be things that change throughout. So I think he just is not ready for the ride that we're going to be on.
Unfair question because you haven't been married that long, so you might not have the answer. But do you think he believes that, or do you think that he thinks this is him pumping you up or helping you stay positive or whatever?
I think he believes it.
Oh.
Because I'll come back and say, no, there's going to be a day that I have to take more insulin. It's not going to be so easy. And I mean, I don't know. He'll see. He'll figure it out.
You're like, I'll show him. Don't worry.
Yeah. He's going to have to learn. Because, I mean, he'll see my numbers. And when it's like, okay, well, I'm spiking. All I ate was an egg. Then, yeah, I have to take insulin.
Yeah, I just don't want, and I'm not saying this is your situation. Maybe it is exactly as you're saying. But there are people who really believe that stuff, who are running around like limiting their insulin and doing, like, they're not being safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you would do that. I'm not saying that, but I'm trying to figure out, like, where does that come from? Like, from this, like, feel, is he very religious?
We've recently got into religion and started going to the church. So I don't really think it's that.
Okay.
To be honest, we're both a little skeptical about modern medicine, hence why we want to do the home birth and everything. So I think he just doesn't always believe things off the bat. He has to see it for himself and go through it to understand, because there's so much misinformation out there.
There is, but there's also a lot of good information. So
Yeah.
how old is he?
31.
Okay. And did you guys grow up in a small town?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody go to college?
I went to college. He did not.
He did not. What'd you go for?
I was a dance major.
Oh, you can go to college for that?
You can.
Oh,
and
hell.
I did.
Oh, I would have gone to college if I known that.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
I'm a terrible dancer, but I mean, this is where I could have thrived.
Yeah, maybe. I think anyone can be a dance major.
Really? Like, you don't think that when I dance, I look ridiculous and there's no way to fix that?
Well, it's funny. I don't know. The dance community gets very, very hippie as well sometimes. And it's like anything can be art. Anything can be dance. So
All right,
anyone can be a dancer.
If you're going to be that nice, then I agree. But I don't agree on principle. Go back to a second to there's a lot of misinformation. Type 1 diabetes has been around forever. People who believe that you see the ancient Egyptians talking about it. They call it the Great Drain. They thought you urinated yourself to death, right?
Okay.
Insulin was made in the 20s, saved people's lives, does every day. Is there something about that he thinks is wrong?
No, I didn't mean that misinformation is specifically about diabetes, just like out there in the world. Like, you go on Facebook and I just saw this is crazy. I just saw an AI video of RFK saying that there is some cactus blend that could cure diabetes. And I thought it was weird. So I Googled it and it was, yes, this was an AI video. So there's so much crazy stuff out there that it's hard to believe things when you see them first.
So people are just trying to get clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I think that's why it's important to find a community of people that you can believe in at some point and just kind of go off of that.
Yeah.
And you've done that already, so you'll be okay. But he hasn't done that yet.
No, other than his Reddit searches, which you can find anything that you are looking for on Reddit. So I do think that at some point I will suggest him starting to listen to your podcast or things like that, just so he can see, because he's never been around anyone who's had diabetes other than me. So he has a lot of learning to do.
Give him the Bold Beginning series. Like, let him listen to that.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, look, I don't not get the duality of a person who makes content saying, like, oh, there's content out there and it's bullshit. There's people listening right now who are like, Scott, I've heard you be wrong about stuff. Is your content bullshit? Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Mm-hmm. I get that vibe. But, like, there's just some basic truths about type 1 diabetes, right? You have type 1 diabetes. You need man-made insulin. Mm-hmm. You will die without it. Maybe you'll need less while you're in a honeymoon phase. And I'll tell you, there's an episode of a guy who was type 1 for many years, using a lot of insulin, but then they put him on a weight loss medication, Mounjaro, or Zepbound, I forget. It's the same thing. And he actually came off his insulin. And As of the time I interviewed him, he wasn't back on it yet, but he also fully expected that he would be at some point.
Yeah.
And right.
Wow.
And like, so like if I said to you right now, like you could maybe stretch out your honeymoon with some GLP, I don't think that's maybe a crazy thing to say, because you could maybe lighten the load and take a little bit of the burden off your beta cells right now and maybe make this time go a little longer for you. And maybe not. Like, I have no idea. You might shoot that GLP and nothing happens to your insulin needs.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea. But GLPs don't cure type 1 diabetes. Yeah, it doesn't make it go away or anything like that. You still have it. You still need insulin. Unless your body's making enough in a honeymoon situation that the GLP lifts the need and allows for what's going on in your beta cells to be enough for you, which is what I think is happening to that guy. And I've had other people on who have like told that story too. But having said that, not many people, a couple, most people who take a GLP who have type 1 just experience less of an insulin need, but maybe by 20%, or, I've heard some people say by 30%. I mean, that might be valuable for you to look into.
I think maybe where some of his skepticism comes to is Dr. Bernstein, from what we were hearing, people were taking very, very minimal insulin by, I guess, the low carb diet. So I guess maybe his thinking is we're going to find a way that you don't have to take a lot of insulin for the rest of your life.
Well, that's very reasonable. Like it certainly is. If you don't tax your, a lot of people have success with that. Now, by the way, a lot of people, I don't know what that means. Like the percentage of people who are doing that, I don't know what that number is. But also, is that a thing you want to do?
I'd consider it, but I don't know if it would last the rest of my life. Are you talking about the low carb? Or
I'm talking about what happens 7-8 months from now when that baby turns 1 and there's a cake. Are you going to want some of it?
I don't know. I think we'll see. I mean, I've been in a lot of situations lately where, the holidays are coming up and there's foods that would definitely spike my blood sugar if I ate them. And I'm okay with passing it up, but I can't say that I'm going to be able to do that forever. I ate pretty healthy my whole life, so I think I can definitely eat pretty low carb, but I can't say there's not going to be a day where I want a bowl of French fries or something.
Yeah, It's a journey. You'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
But it is tough. My point is that it's tough to have an outside person tell you 3 months into something, hey, what the idea here is like just eat a steak and don't touch any carbs ever again, and you won't have to do it's like, all right, man, well, maybe I'll just use some insulin and have a brownie. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know what will be right for you.
Yeah, I think there's a balance. I think, I'll figure it out.
Oh, that's definitely true. Listen, the lower carb you eat, the better off, you're going to be as far as the amount of insulin you.
Yeah.
This podcast probably started with me saying, like, I figured out, like, that these things help my daughter's A1C stay lower, right? And as I started making the podcast, it occurred to me that I'm not in charge of how people eat. There's an industry around telling people how to eat, right? Like, there's somebody out there telling you to eat keto. There's somebody out there telling you to high fat. There's somebody telling you to eat vegetarian, vegan, blah, blah, blah. Like, people love to tell each other how to eat. And people love to get into teams and say, this is the best way to do it. I don't think that is an open tent mentality.
Yeah.
I think that it allows you to get other people who are, very hyper focused on this one thing and get them all together, and they can all tell each other, look how great this is. But how does that help you, a new person who's diagnosed, right? Or a person who's struggling or something like that, who can't make a big leap and a big change. And so my idea always was, this is how the insulin works. If you apply it this way, you should be able to keep your A1C here, your stability here, your variability here, and then go apply that to how you eat. Now, the rest of it is, I do hope at some point people look and realize that there are some foods that are just harder.
Yeah.
And take more insulin and create more volatility and probably aren't very healthy. And do I hope they stop eating them? I don't care. Like, it's not my life. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they're happy and I hope they're as healthy as they can be. And if that means not eating something because it's garbage or because it's, mass produced or something like that, I guess I hope they come to that conclusion. But I also had a Swedish fish the other day and it was awesome. I just want to say, like, I had 4 of them. I remember them each and individually because I stretched them out before I ate them. And then I ate them in little bites. I don't know if you know a Swedish fish, but they're.
Oh yeah.
I'm not here telling you not to eat candy or not to do anything. Like, I just feel like it's ridiculous for me to come on.
The baby's coming up, by the way.
Oh, we're gonna get the baby.
Yes.
Oh, so your mom's got to go? What, she got a job?
Yeah. Hi, here's the baby. Okay. All right.
I changed.
Oh wow, thank you.
Yeah.
So helpful.
She's so
Thank you. That's okay. Okay. Thank you. That's okay.
Hi, baby. Hi.
That's fine.
Put the baby near the ear pod so I can tell him, like, maybe don't listen to daddy on everything. I'm not sure yet.
Aw.
Okay.
She's surprisingly quiet right now, but she might freak out. So we'll see.
Are
what
you
happens.
comfortable sharing her name or no?
Yes, her name's Valerie.
Valerie. Oh, beautiful. Oh, it's wonderful.
Valerie.
It's so nice.
Yep.
How is your mom handling the fact that you have diabetes?
I think she's accepting of it, but she's pre-diabetic for type 2, I guess, herself. So she kind of understands. I'm more so the one pushing her to like be like, you got to get this together, because she's kind of been on and off pre-diabetic for a couple years now. And now I'm like, look, this has happened to me. Like, you could have to take insulin in the future. Like, I really hope that you can, manage your diet a little bit better so that you don't have to be in my situation. Because I guess being type 2, my understanding is you do have more control over it.
Does your mom have any weight to lose?
No, that's the crazy thing. She's very tiny. So
Okay. Boy, a tiny little bit of that GLP might change her life.
yeah, it could definitely be something I could suggest to her.
Yeah, I'd love to see more people pay attention. I think the upsides can be really kind of phenomenal for people. What is she doing? Anything? Is she on metformin? Is she...
No, she just goes to see her doctor every couple of months, and they keep checking her A1C, and they're like, as long as it doesn't get any higher,
What is
for
it?
now, we just want you to manage your diet.
Do you know what it is?
I think the highest it was maybe like 5.8, around there. So like nothing crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully she can manage it with diet. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I've tried. I think she just isn't very knowledgeable in nutrition. And like, I'll say, okay, like, you need to eat healthier. And she's like, okay, well, all I had was cereal for dinner. And I'm like, okay, Mom, that's exactly what you shouldn't do.
With my mom became like pre-diabetic for a hot minute. I was like, all right, Mom, let's get you together some lower carb options. Like, go ahead and show me some stuff. And everything she pulled together had carbs in it. And I was like, Mom, there's carbs in all this. I was like, let's add it up here, blah, blah, blah. It's this many. She goes, oh, I didn't know that. Because she thinks of things as healthy.
Yes.
Yeah. And I realized because she's older too, she had thought of things as stuff that she couldn't afford as being good. Does that make sense? Like when she was younger, if she couldn't afford it, that made it like something to reach for. And because it was something to reach for, then it was a good thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like there was like a whole like weird psychology around it. And she didn't understand the carbs in anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your mom eats like literally cereal. Like what? Like tell me the brand.
I don't know what cereal, but I'll just ask her like, what did you have for dinner last night? And she'll say like, just toast. And then she'll always say like, oh, I'm not eating out like fast food as much. And she'll get Chick-fil-A the next day. Or we'll be at a gathering and she always has a cupcake or a cookie in her hand. Like she just loves her sweets. So I'm always like, Mom, this is the thing. And I don't want to be that person to like make her feel uncomfortable about what she's eating. But I do understand nutrition a little bit more. And I don't want to see her get in the same position that I am in. So
how old is she?
She's 55.
Your mom's only 55?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Your mom's 55 and she don't know that the Chick-fil-A is bad?
She knows it's bad, but I don't think she realizes the extent. Like she'll say, oh, I don't have it that much, but then she'll get it that week. And I'm like, okay, but if you're getting it every week, like, maybe try once a month.
And cereals, that's an interesting one. Cereals, like you're like, you have pre-diabetes, eat better. And she's like, I ate cereal.
Yes.
Like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think she doesn't like to cook. And so she's like, whatever's the easiest thing to eat. Like, I remember when I was in high school, my parents got divorced and we would be with her that week and we would literally have toast for dinner just out of laziness. So
Is your mom doing crack or anything like that? Is there something weird going on? No? She's not a meth head? No. Are you sure? You're in Western Pennsylvania, aren't you?
That's true. That's
okay.
true.
I just got to check. Wow, toast for dinner. I have to tell you what, as you do get older, there are days where you're just like, I had soup the other night. My kids are like, what are you going to have for dinner? I'm like, I already had soup. They were like, what? I'm like, soup. I had some chicken soup. I'm good.
Yeah. And I mean, parenting, I'm learning, like, you don't always might have to hold a baby and figure out how I'm going to cook chicken and broccoli for dinner. And that's just not going to happen tonight. So I get it.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, I mean, I hope she figures it out. There's a type 2 series in the podcast if you want to give it to her.
Okay. Yeah. I'll definitely. I'm always sending her podcasts to listen to. So I will do that.
Do you think does she listen?
I don't know. And if she does, I don't know if she like really listens.
Interesting. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I like you being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the things you shared today. It is a really interesting look into a person who is very recently diagnosed.
Yeah, I'm glad I could share.
Yeah, no, and under really kind of extraordinary circumstances, honestly.
Yes, for sure.
You have a different, I used to say to my wife, I'm like, I don't think we're going to hear too many different diagnosis stories anymore. But you are with one, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, that's like every doctor I had, they were just as shocked as I was. So I figured it was not super common.
Keep filling yourself. Oh, the baby did a thing and now I'm all melted inside. Oh, that's lovely. You're going to have
yawning.
You're going to have, did you say it's yawning? That was awesome. You're going to have such a lovely time raising her.
Yes, I already love it so much.
Congratulations. Really, really
Thank you.
lovely. And keep filling yourself with knowledge. Get it at all different places and then make a good decision for yourself, okay?
I will for sure.
Awesome. Hold on 1 second for me.
Okay.
The podcast episode that you just enjoyed was sponsored by Eversense CGM. They make the Eversense 365. That thing lasts a whole year. One insertion every year? Come on. You probably feel like I'm messing with you, but I'm not. EversenseCGM.com/juicebox. Arden has been getting her diabetes supplies from US Med for 3 years. You can as well. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. My thanks to US Med for sponsoring this episode and for being longtime sponsors of the Juicebox Podcast. There are links in the show notes and links at juiceboxpodcast.com to US Med and all of the sponsors. Head now to tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox and check out today's sponsor, Tandem Diabetes Care. I think you're going to find exactly what you're looking for at that link, including a way to sign up and get started with the Tandem Mobi system. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. If you're not already subscribed or following the podcast in your favorite audio app like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do that now. Seriously, just to hit follow or subscribe will really help the show. If you go a little further in Apple Podcasts and set it up so that it downloads all new episodes, I'll be your best friend. And if you leave a 5-star review, I'll probably send you a Christmas card. Would you like a Christmas card? If you're looking for community around type 1 diabetes, check out the Juicebox Podcast private Facebook group, Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes. But everybody is welcome. Type 1, Type 2, gestational, loved ones, it doesn't matter to me. If you're impacted by diabetes and you're looking for support, comfort, or community, check out Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook. The episode you just heard was professionally edited by Wrong Way Recording. WrongWayRecording.com.